Welcome to Whispers of the Web, where the hidden gems of the web come to life. Join us as we unravel the most fascinating tales, secrets, and discussions from across the web. Every whisper has a story. If you enjoy our journey through the whispers of the web, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the intrigue. Story number 1. Am I the a-hole for wanting to take my 4-day-old baby away from her dad without saying anything to him? Like leave when he's sleeping? Throw away because my husband has access to my mail. He doesn't follow this subreddit. I don't know if I'm thinking clearly. Please help. I just gave birth 4 days ago to a beautiful baby girl. I'm 29, my husband is 30. Right after we were discharged and got home, 3 nights ago, my husband got a phone call from his father, and next thing I know, my husband is losing it. He's on the phone for like 45 minutes, just flipping out. Crying, snotting, yelling. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong and he's ignoring me. He goes and gets himself a 6-pack. He finally opens up to me about what's going on. Apparently his brother, I think 27, I've only met him twice because he lives with their dad out of state, just got arrested for kidnapping, photos of minor children, and having sexual relations with a young girl a week ago. He wouldn't tell me how old she was, kept dodging the question. He's been a mess since then. He has barely held our daughter, and when he does, he's just crying. He's not helping me at all. He's just completely shut down. I'm trying to be understanding, but I don't know the depth of what's actually happening at this point because he's not really communicating with me. Well, his mom showed up here at 8 a.m. this morning and woke us all up. He apparently invited her here to talk about what they're going to do. I kind of snapped at one point because I'm asking what's going on, and they are straight up ignoring me. So I snapped and said, "Will someone tell me what the heck is going on right now?" And his mom brought up the article of the arrest, and it says minor girl aged 12 to 13. She was 12 when it started and is 13 now. So I just kind of clam up because I'm in shock, I think. Well, him and his mom start talking about getting this guy a good lawyer because apparently there was evidence in text and instant messenger showing that they were actively in a relationship, and she knew what she was doing. They start searching for lawyers right then and there, and they start making phone calls to get quotes. Well, my husband just spoke to some lawyer for a free quote and gave the rundown on the situation to this guy, and he blamed the girl basically. Yeah, it's screwed up because this girl knew what she was freaking doing, so she's just as much to blame here, if not more. I immediately felt sick to my stomach and just went to the bedroom with our daughter and kind of hid out, I guess. But him and his mom just came in here and asked me if I would pay for the lawyer. Apparently the guy he was just on the phone with quoted him $12,000. I have $26,000 in fund money. No real purpose, but I've been saving over the past year. They also said he will need to be bonded out. I guess he was seen this morning at 9 a.m., which is why mother-in-law came over today, and his bond is $10,000. $100,000 technically. But I guess you only have to pay 10%. I'm so confused. This is just what they are telling me. I think there was a longer process. This is all happening so fast. I don't want to pay for a lawyer. I don't want to pay this guy's bond. I don't want to be around my husband who is blaming the girl. I don't want to be around him when he's an emotional train wreck and having no help with our daughter because he's so screwed in the head right now. I don't know if I should wait it out and give him a chance to think more clearly before I jump ship and run for the hills. But everything in my body right now is screaming at me to run. I told him I didn't want to pay for the lawyer or bond. He said he understood, and I think he's trying to guilt me because every time I leave a room, he follows 5 minutes later bawling his eyes out, on the phone with someone saying he's never going to see his brother again, and trying to figure out how he's going to come up with the money. I need to figure something out. He needs that lawyer and I don't have the money. Or taking tissues from the bathroom and standing in the living room where I am to blow his nose super loud. It feels manipulative. Am I the a-hole for wanting to run, without telling him, and take the baby? I don't know what to do here. Edit to add. If you don't believe this, just please move along. I'm looking for help, not someone saying how fake they think this is because men don't cry over their brothers being locked up. He has been crying and flipping out since it happened. Keeps saying he's going to get unalived in prison or that he never should have allowed his brother to leave the state because none of this would have happened. He's even been watching videos on prison fights and how inmates make weapons because he's clearly not in the right head and thinks he needs to warn his brother on how to protect himself. Edit to add again. The money I have is cash and I have it on my body, in my robe, in the zipper. As for why he's protecting his brother, not to make excuses here, I think it's survivor's guilt. His brother was abused as a kid and my husband watched it happen but didn't or couldn't stop it. So now everything that happens with his brother he is overwhelmed with guilt and blaming himself for why his brother is so screwed up. It's a, I couldn't save him then but I can save him now mentality. My mom, dad, and brother are on their way. Thank you guys. Story number 2. Am I the a-hole for refusing to cook dinner for my in-laws after my husband gave his mom all of my leftovers? I'm 3 months postpartum, but for the most part it doesn't really affect me. Our daughter is a super easygoing baby, so my healing process was smooth sailing. I've been up and doing my pre-baby routines since maybe a month after I gave birth. With that said, I still get super tired and I still have postpartum anger that randomly spikes whenever my breast milk drops, DMER or dysphoric milk ejection reflex, so maybe I'm being too harsh here. 2 days ago I made a huge corn chowder. It took me at least 4 hours between prep and cook. I have been craving this since maybe 2 weeks after I gave birth, and though my husband said he would make it for me, I always declined the offer. I wanted to do it myself because, to be blunt, his cooking isn't great. Edible but not great. So I wanted to make it and I made it 2 days ago. I made so much. The mid-sized stock pot was up to the top. I have been eating it since I made it for pretty much every meal and I wasn't even remotely sick of it. Not that it matters. But anyways, last night I had more of it and I transferred what was left into a small Tupperware container. I had between 15 to 20 cups left. The Tupperware has measuring on the side. Enough for about 10 bowls anyways. Well, my husband made plans with his parents a few days ago to come over for dinner tonight, and he asked me to make a ham dinner. I don't eat ham but had no problem with this because I had corn chowder left. Mother-in-law and father-in-law showed up around 11 a.m. this morning to hang out for the day. I end up running to the store to get other stuff I need to make for dinner. Well, when I got back home, my mother-in-law says, "That corn chowder was delicious. You'll have to give me the recipe." I said, Thank you." Whatever. I figured she ate 1 bowl. But I go to the kitchen to drop off the groceries and the Tupperware holding the corn chowder is in the sink. I checked the fridge to see if it was moved to a smaller container. Nope. It's gone. They ate all of it. I called my husband into the room and asked him where all my chowder was and he goes, "Sorry, I offered mom and dad a bowl of it and my mom polished off the entire thing." So I go, "There was easily enough for 10 bowls in there. There's no freaking way she just ate all of it." And he just shrugged and said, "No, she really did. Dad only had 1 bowl." So I asked why he didn't stop her, and he said he felt bad because she enjoyed it so much and acted like she was starving. I told him I'm not making dinner tonight. He can. I told him it was screwed up that he would give away that much food, knowing I cooked it specifically because I wanted it, and saw me plugging away at it for 2 days. Besides that, there's no way that woman is still hungry after that. He says that he can't make the ham dinner because it will come out like crap. True, but I told him that's not my problem and to tell his parents that I'm not feeling well and I'm going to go hang out in the baby's nursery because of how upset I am. He says I'm overreacting. I don't believe you're overreacting at all. That was your dinner for the night because you don't eat ham. Now you're out dinner, and he still expects you to cook for the people who ate your dinner? You are not the a-hole here, and your husband needs to apologize and make a better effort to cook so he can properly make it up to you. Story number 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I'll get a divorce if he doesn't let me adopt my daughter? My husband, 36, and I, 39, have been together for about 9 years now. Back then he wasn't sure he wanted kids, but I told him I'll never have any of my own for several reasons, mostly medical but also because of my horrible past. So I gave him the opportunity to leave me and find someone else before we got to close. He said he doesn't want children, but he really wants to be with me. In this conversation I also told him that I would like to adopt older children someday. He only said he didn't want a kid that isn't his and didn't want to talk about it anymore. Fast forward to now. he isn't the best catch. I'm clearly his cleaning lady, and other than spending his time gaming or chatting online, he stays doing anything else. No trips, no visits to family, no visitors at our place, no shopping, etc. The only thing we do together is gaming because I got into that to at least be able to spend some time with him. 2 years ago I met a young woman, 20, who suffered from severe depression and body dysphoria as she was trans. She had no support whatsoever and was practically alone in a foreign county. I helped her with all the paperwork and got her new clothes so she would pass as a girl. When she wanted to unalive herself because of her racist transphobic father, we took her in. I spent many nights at the ER with her when she overdosed meds or cut herself too deep. But with all of that we really developed an amazing relationship that was more like mother and daughter. When she got better she started helping me and my family with literally everything. Everybody loves her. She doesn't have a family anymore. Her mom is dead and her father a jerk. So my mother asked why I wouldn't adopt her. That way she had another grandchild. I thought and talked about it a lot. It was something I have always wanted to do in my life. Now my husband didn't take it well at all. He never does if I want to change something. I wanted a new apartment because one neighbor sexually harassed me. My husband said no, he doesn't want to walk more than 10 minutes to work. When my job got really toxic and had gotten me into a psych ward a couple of times, I asked if we could move to a different city so I can find a healthier position and he could get a good job anywhere. Once again he said no and that he didn't want to discuss it. We stayed until my parents moved here and my work literally broke me. Now I can't move away. I want to be with my family. That's when he said he was willing to move now. I know I'm to blame for not stepping up for what I wanted, but that would have led to him getting really ugly with me. Now I do want to adopt this wonderful woman, accompany every step of her transition, and show her that a loving family exists. It's a whack adoption. She would only be my daughter and doesn't inherit anything from me or his family. But I could make choices and would legally have to be there for her. When he yelled at me that he's never gonna sign the adoption, husband doesn't adopt but has to agree with me doing it, I snapped and told him that if he takes this one thing I've wanted all my life away, then I'll divorce him. He's mad because she seems to be more important to me than he does. And yes, it happened that everyone around me is more important because they all care about me, help me, and do things with me he doesn't want to do. Am I the a-hole for telling him I'll get a divorce so I can adopt my daughter? I'm not sure adoption is the best option for you. It seems like you need to get your life in order and probably divorce your husband anyway. It doesn't even sound like you like him, so now is definitely not the right time to adopt a fully grown adult woman just in order to legally be there for her. You could just be her power of attorney if she'll allow it. But either way you should move on from your husband. Story number 4. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to kiss my butt hypothetically? My husband and I have 4 kids and back 3 years ago we became homeless for a plethora of reasons, most of which were medical bills. Our youngest son fell super ill. We basically couldn't catch back up after he got better and lost everything. We spent 4 months in our vehicles, the kids were at my mother's. During the time that we were in our vehicles, no one outside of my mother offered help in any way. My mother-in-law has a 6-bedroom house and only 1 room is being used. She didn't want us there. However, because, well, I never really enjoyed living with people. It is what it is, but it definitely did piss me off because she could have helped but saw her grandkids homeless instead. My mom ended up buying us a camper, which she had us hook up to her electric and water. Without my mom we would have been screwed, to put it bluntly. But anyways, a year later and we were back on our feet. We started our own business. We repaid my mother and we closed on our home 2 months ago. Now, do note that I didn't hold anything against my mother-in-law, in a big sense, though it was in the back of my head admittedly, until this past week. She calls my husband and tells him that her house is going into foreclosure and she has until the 16th to pay $20,000 in back taxes. Not even sure how she managed that considering she makes $60,000 a year. I'm not sure if she asked my husband to pay it off or if he said he would figure it out. But either way he brought it up with me and asked if I would be willing to help pay off his mother's back taxes so she doesn't lose her home. I said no. I'm not dishing out $20,000 to save anyone's home and potentially putting us in a bad spot again. We have the money but that's not the point. As soon as I say no, he starts giving me made-up scenarios. Like, yeah, but if we don't, hypothetically speaking, she will need to move in with us. And then said, hypothetically speaking, we could take our taxes and build an addition off the house and let her stay there for the time being. We were planning on building an addition anyways. For my library, he kept pushing it, kept saying the word hypothetically, despite me saying no several times. She's not living here. I'm not paying her taxes either. Well, I finally snapped and said, I have an idea. How about you kiss my butt, hypothetically, of course. Now he's mad at me and pissed that I'm still holding a grudge over her not helping us when we were homeless. And you know what? I guess I am. She left her grandchildren homeless. I don't think you're the a-hole here, but you and your husband need to figure this out for the health of your relationship. What do you guys think? Do you think the poster should continue to hold her ground, or do you think she should figure something out together to better their relationship? Thank you for joining us for today's journey through the whispers of the web. Share your thoughts and suggestions for our next adventure. If you're not yet a part of our whispering community, click the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications to never miss out on another story. Join us next time as we uncover another enthralling tale from the web. Until our next whisper.